YNW Melly's world just turned upside down, as it was just announced today the new prosecutor in YNW Melly's trial is Stephen Klinger. He is a 39-year-old veteran in criminal law. This is coming after it was announced, breaking news, YNW Melly's prosecutor Christine Bradley has been removed from the YNW Melly retrial, following an order signed and granted by Judge Murphy on Thursday, as explained further here.
I'm not a lawyer, but Bryson Boone Paul just tweeted that the prosecutor, Christine Bradley, has officially been removed from the YNW Melly case. That means she will not be the lead prosecutor for the retrial of YNW Melly. The news came from the Sun Sentinel, and it says that while Christine Bradley has been removed, the elected state attorney and two key deputies cannot be called to testify. Remember, Melly's attorneys were trying to get 7 of the state attorneys to testify, and this ruling is basically the judge saying no to at least one of those.
It seems Christine Bradley already believed that she was going to be getting removed from Melly's trial, as Stephen Klinger has been seen walking around the courtroom, as well as earlier this week when she was caught committing crimes in Melly's trial, where she would not even show up to court to face the judge face to face, which would go on and make the judge extremely angry, ultimately resulting in him firing her.
Typically what I do when I have a braid or some issue about it, the prosecutor who's involved in it tells me, she comes in here, she's got an obligation of candor to the court, and I ask her a question and she advises me as to what's going on and why there's a change, why something like that. But she's not here. This is her case. We spent 2-3 months trying the case originally. It came to a jury, but she's not here for this. I don't understand that.
As with YNW Melly's new lead prosecutor of Stephen Klinger, he is the real deal according to lawyers online. He was in one day so far of Melly's trial, and it was already announced today that there is 7 new charges against YNW Melly, as his 7 new charges are tampering with a witness in a capital felony, directing the activities of a criminal street team, solicitation to commit tampering, solicitation to commit tampering again, conspiracy to commit tampering, unlawful use of a two-way communication device, as well as a second unlawful use of a two-way communication device. To understand how serious these charges are, Bryson Paul mentioned that after the court hearing, the new prosecutor and these new charges being announced, Bryson would state, and I quote, "YNW Melly does not crack a smile at the gallery as he is escorted back to jail, as he has smiled at his family at the end of every single court hearing and trial date this far." To understand Melly's new charges, we need to dive deeper into these new reports of, along with capital charges, YNW Melly's witness tampering charges will be classified as a capital life case, which if convicted, can result in a life imprisonment judgment and $15,000 in fines by Judge Duffy. By continuing, YNW Bortlen, Melly's co-defendant, awaits his trial on the capital charges. However, his witness tampering charges that ended up revoking his house arrest bond will not be treated as a capital life case like Melly's, and instead is a second-degree felony case. If convicted, Bortlen can receive up to the maximum of 30 years in prison, as well as $10,000 in fines by Judge Peter Holden. As with Melly getting these new charges against him, as well as YNW Bortlen getting these charges as well, many sources and lawyers online are stating there's a high probability of Bortlen making some sort of plea deal. As Bortlen facing these new charges all began when it was announced that YNW Bortlen was arrested for witness tampering charges this week. As while his house was being raided by the feds, they found some insane paperwork against Bortlen and Melly.
Melly's co-defendant YNW Bortlen was booked into a Miami jail Monday night and is being held behind bars on an out-of-county warrant. We just confirmed the warrant is out of Broward County for witness tampering. The warrant obtained by Law&Crime Network states as follows. On or about April 10, 2023, continuing through and including July 22, 2023, Cortland Henry, aka Bortlen, along with others, did unlawfully and knowingly engage in misleading conduct toward another person with the intent to cause or induce them to withhold testimony. The warrant continues the alleged witness had been summoned by the legal process to the jury trial of Jamel Dimmons, aka YNW Melly. The dates in the warrant are important. Jury selection for Melly started in mid-April, and a judge declared a mistrial on July 22nd, the same day the warrant claims Bortlen allegedly tampered with a witness.
As it would also be announced by Bryson Paul, here are the images of the alleged notes discovered during the home raid of YNW Bortlen's house last week, filed into the Broward clerks by the state, alongside these very strange photos, where you could see that Bortlen detailed where certain jurors were sitting, alongside a description of what they looked like during the YNW Melly original trial. To understand how serious and law-breaking this truly is, here's Akademiks' reaction.
To keep it real, this is sloppy. Bortlen, how the f you gonna have the notebook of the jurors in your house? Like, god damn. Holy shit. You know what I mean? Like, brother, like, come the f on. It's like doing a and having the surveillance tape in your DVD player or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. Like they raid your crib and the surveillance footage of the is in your DVD player. They be like, oh, okay, thank you, brother. This can't be at your crib.
This right here ruined all of YNW Melly's progress on ever being released from jail, as lawyers stated that Melly's chances of release before Bortlen's house raid was extremely high. Even the judge outlined all of the crimes committed by prosecutors and the state attorney's office against YNW Melly last week, as this alone violated YNW Melly's rights and could have had him released.
You indicated here that counsel for the defendant believes that there is probable cause that the witnesses under subpoena, the members of the state attorney's office and the elected state attorney to have committed obstruction of justice and attempted witness tampering and felony pursuant to FS 838.022 for misuse of public office due to their actions since October of 2020.
That's what it says, Ron.
That's right. Very serious allegation.
Very serious allegation. Very serious.
As now with the lead prosecutor, Christine Bradley, removed from Melly's trial, this is when YNW Melly's team submitted paperwork to have the entire case canceled in general. This will be getting heard on this Friday.
Jury selection for Melly's retrial will not begin on Monday, October 9th, like originally scheduled. Instead, next week, the judge said they will argue the state's motion to quash defense subpoenas of several prosecutors, including the elected state attorney. The defense motion to dismiss the case altogether will be heard next Friday on October 13th.
As at the beginning, the judge actually gave YNW Melly a court hearing to discuss case cancellation, as typically when a criminal's lawyers submits a case cancellation form with the current charges against him, it usually will just be denied on the spot. The judge will literally say no and give the paperwork back. However, Judge Murphy actually gave Melly a chance to do it on this Friday. However, YNW Bortlen, with the paperwork that was found at his house, has now just ruined Melly's chances. The only thing left in YNW Melly's way of being a win is when this lady would take the stand during his latest court hearing, where she would reveal about how Mark Moretti lied and exactly what he did to Melly's mother, Jamie King.
Detective Moretti said to Deputy Morell, "You need to say you were here when I served that search warrant." And it was kind of like an awkward moment. Someone described it just kind of getting twice in the head. So there's a search warrant that gets served, and I'm like, what's going on? And then the next thing, he's asking this deputy to lie for him. And again, I'm like this isn't, like, I'm in the twilight, so I'm like, this can't really be happening.
Further proving on how well Melly's lawyers were doing, we would even see YNW Juvie's father do an emergency interview this week with Law&Crime, sharing that this new case dismissal situation is affecting him and his family.
All of this legal wrangling that's leading to a delay in the second trial, how are you?
I'm taking it one day at a time. You know, you got to go through this process once again. And relive it once again.
As YNW Juvie's father also understands, Christine Bradley was doing a terrible job. It's likely him and the family of Sack Chaser are extremely happy with the new lead prosecutor that is now entered. However, during this interview he would also go on to explain how Melly and Bortlen were witness tampering and even what code words they were using to make Melly's ex-girlfriend not testify against him, likely trying to give Christine Bradley some sort of help against YNW Melly.
Both Melly, Jamel Demons, YNW Melly, and Cortland Henry, who is known as YNW Bortlen, are now charged with witness tampering. It sounds like the prosecutors are saying there was this kind of crazy way that Melly was communicating. He wasn't allowed to use the phone, but he was passing notes to people, and then this person's calling this person, and then that person.
Seems like to me they're going through extreme measures to try to cover up or convince people not to testify, like Mariah mom. They was using code words like Rihanna and A$AP Rocky's baby mom. And
as during this interview, it was very obvious Juvie's father was trying to just share information that he had that he has never told anyone before, likely just to help the prosecution against YNW Melly so we don't see another mistrial. As YNW Juvie's father would then share what happened on the morning of the crime, the moment that he woke up, checked his cell phone, and then even went down to the police station to clarify that it was YNW Juvie that sadly passed. As while driving to the police station, Juvie's father would mention that Melly's mother also wanted to go alongside him and that she said something very weird.
He wasn't, he had switched vehicles. At least that's what they said in the first trial, that he had gotten into, it was suggested through a defense witness, the one and only defense witness, that he had gotten into that other vehicle.
Yeah, they was telling me that I drove down there that morning to go identify Chris. I met Moretti down there that morning, other 26. And on the way down there, when I talked to Jamie, she told me the same thing. Like, don't talk to the media and tell them Melly wasn't there. Instantly, my antennas went up because I didn't understand. Like, I knew from that day, I knew something was up.
As Juvie's father is dropping some insane evidence that we have never even heard before. He would then even share his last moment that he saw Christopher, aka YNW Juvie, his son.
Last time I spoke to Chris was like 2 days before the incident. Him and Melly FaceTimed me, and that's the last time I saw him. Last time I spoke to him was like that same week, man. It just hurt me to see that the love that he had for Melly to do that to him. I see if it was one of his enemies or somebody, he did something wrong or something, but the way it happened, how it happened, who did it, it just all heartbreaking on both sides.
With Juvie's father sharing new evidence, Melly having 7 new charges, and Melly and Bortlen now having witness tampering charges together, the judge could see it very easy just to try them together in his upcoming retrial now, which would leave YNW Melly sentenced to life in prison, as this would be a very terrible thing for Melly.
Issue here, and you can try them together. It is to the benefit of the state to try them together. It just more efficient. You don't have to do things again and again. Do it all at once, and also you get a better chance of having them incriminate each other during the trial. It benefits the defense to sever it. That way they can point the finger at each other and get away with it. So this is what's going on. But I don't think it should be automatically severed because the state is seeking a penalty for Melly, because it's only the penalty phase of the trial that would be different, not the guilt phase. The guilt phase is the same. They're both capital crimes. You're seeking the penalty on one, not the other, but that goes into the second part of the trial, the penalty phase, only if Melly is found guilty.
As with jury selection still going on, we won't hear an announcement of Melly and Bortlen being tried together for a few months. However, if they are together, it would make a lot of sense as to why YNW Melly fired his original lawyer, being David A. Howard. As during Melly's original trial, Howard was trying to put all of the evidence against YNW Bortlen, and then Melly mysteriously just fires him right after his trial is over, as it's very public knowledge that Bortlen did not appreciate what David Howard did. An example of this is 15 minutes into day 1 of Melly's trial, David Howard announced this about Bortlen.
Demon's lies, those were his lies. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with 2 bodies, car riddled with. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in his pocket. Not Cortland Henry. There were 3 phones.
Revealing that it's always been YNW Bortlen that was telling the lies to the feds, and he was the one with powder residue on his hands. So if they're being tried together, it's very obvious that YNW Bortlen would not want to be anywhere near this guy. As even a lawyer though would mention that it's not too late for Bortlen to make a plea deal either, snitching on YNW Melly.
Is it too late for Cortland to plea?
No, I don't think it's too late. It's never too late. I've had individuals been offered pleas but turned them down in the middle of trial. I've had people offered pleas before a verdict came back. So it just depends on the case, depends on the prosecutor, depends on the actual charges. So no, it's never too late for that. He could take a plea in the middle of his case. I don't think that would happen. If he was going to take a plea, if there was going to be a deal, it would be in the middle of Melly's case.